Hey, it's me, Carissa Kelly. I am in the rubber room and I'm going live to share with you some more Sale-A-Bration stuff. You can still get Sale-A-Bration until the end of this year. I'm sorry, the end of this month. Till the end of August, you can get Sale-A-Bration items for free. And there's some wonderful things in here. Still, there are only 2 things you can't get, but everything else in this catalog is still available. So you do want to get them as soon as possible because they are while supplies last. And everything's gone at the end of this month. So let's jump in and get started. And if you don't have one of those catalogs and want one, just let me know. We're going to make this card today. These, we're going to make 3 cards today, and they are all actually cards that were made during our last our last Sale-A-Bration class. And I can see I have left my words for this one on the other table, and I am going to need them. So hang tight just one quick second while I grab my words. Okay, those of you that have joined me before, you know that it's not really Chris Colley if I haven't forgotten some things. So, all right, Kay and Nancy, I'm glad you guys are here with me. And we are just going to jump right in here. It's Friday afternoon. It is a sunny, gorgeous day. I did some yard work this morning and got that all out of the way so I could play in the rubber room this afternoon. So we're going to get started here. This free product we're going to be using is the Rings of Love, I believe it is called. It's free paper, designer series paper in the Sale-A-Bration catalog, and it coordinates with the Tree of Love, I believe, stamp set. Let me just check that out really quick because I don't want to tell you guys the wrong thing. Okay, so it's the Ringed with Nature stamp set that it coordinates with. And it's actually on page 62 of the annual catalog. And then this is the Rings of Love 12 by 12 designer series paper that we're going to be using. All right, so we have a piece of basic white cardstock. This one is soft suede and it is 8.5 by 5.5. I scored it at 4 1/4 and then just folded it, burnished it on that score line. And then I'm going to take my basic white, and this is going to go on the inside of my card. And I always like to do a little something with the inside of my cards so that they coordinate with what's on the outside. So I'm going to add just this little piece of designer series paper, which I think is about 3/4 of an inch. Yep, it's 4 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom. I'm going to have a little bit of white showing down there, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch down there. Okay, and this is just a really quick, simple card. I have a piece of soft suede cardstock, and I have embossed it with the embossing folder that coordinates with that stamp set. And I'm just going to, if I brought my dauber, oh, I did, yes. So I am going to take my dauber. I'm just going to quickly tap it in my soft suede ink and then kind of tap it off onto my scrap paper. And then I'm just going to rub it onto the embossed areas that are showing the little kind of tree parts. And that, you can see, is just going to make it a little bit darker. And so it's just going to make it a little bit easier to see. And this, of course, is easier to do if you have your paper on your scrap paper instead of holding it, but there we go. So you can see it's just given it a little bit more definition, and which has created a little bit of a layered kind of effect to it on top of the embossing. Okay, and then while my stamp pad is open, I am going to, this is a piece that was cut out. It's a basic white piece cut with the stitched rectangle dies. I love those dies. And this piece is just kind of perfect for this little get well soon that's in that stamp set. So I'm just going to line it up on there. There we go. Oh, and it looks like I forgot my pearls for this one. So we're going to actually, when you were in the class, part of the class included some product. And the iridescent pearls were part of that. And so these are these little tiny pearls right here. I didn't bring mine over, so we're not going to use those today. But they really do add a lot to your project and kind of make it. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal and just add it to the back of my soft suede piece of paper here. I'm managing to get adhesive everywhere. And then I'm going to put that right in the middle of my piece of designer series paper. And my designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. And I like to put this on before I adhere it, so that if it's just a little too long at the edge, I can cut that edge off. And this time it was not, so I was good with that. And I also have this little piece of twine. I don't know why this is acting so goofy today. Must be because it's Friday. It thinks it should have the day off, right? So I'm just going to take my twine and fold it, so it's going to go right across the middle of that piece of soft suede paper. I'm just going to add a little bit more adhesive. And I'm putting adhesive right over my twine, and that will help to hold it in place a little better. So let's bring my cardstock in here. And I'm just going to take a little extra peek and make sure that I am adhering this in the right direction. I have been known on more than one occasion to adhere it upside down, which is not really always a good look, right? I don't like doing it, but for some reason I find myself doing it often. So I always like to take that second little peek and make sure. And now I'm just going to put some dimensionals on my sentiment. And I love dimensionals. They just add so much to your card. Give it kind of an interesting little effect. And I'm going to put this over towards my right edge because I'm going to add my little bow on my left edge. Oh, I'm going to do that with in the Paper Pumpkin kit, you get these little tiny glue dots, and they are really, really small. And so I like to save those to put right on the knots on my bows, because they're just kind of like that perfect size there. So put that on, and then just peel the back of it off. And they're like our regular glue dots, so they stay sticky on the front and the back, and that one, the back is not coming off. So I'm going to do it the opposite way and put it down on my card first, and then peel the back of it off. And then put my bow down. Okay, so quick and easy. And again, you will want to add your little pearls to it, like I did with this one. Okay. Managed to get that light off. And then this one, we used that same stamp set and the same designer series paper on it. And I used these are the Stylish Shapes dies. These are new in the annual catalog, and I use them a ton. They're just stitched, but they have layering rectangles, layering circles, and then they also have these little banners. So you have kind of like 4 different shapes of banners. And these fit so many different things. I know you guys that watch me regularly have seen a lot of things that I do. I add those to it. So, all right, so let's get started on this one. And again, the same designer series paper with the same stamp set that coordinates with it. And of course, I don't have my words here. I don't know what I was thinking when I prepped for this. So hold on 1 second and I will grab my words. Okay. And I think I have the full basket so for the other ones you won't have to watch me come and go again. And we'll start this one. This piece of cardstock is Night of Navy, and it is 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored the 11-inch side at 5 1/2, and just fold and burnish on that score line. And then on the inside, a piece of basic white, 5 1/4 by 4, and again I have a little piece of DSP that I'm going to put down on the inside of it, and leave just a tiny little piece of white showing at the bottom. And this is kind of why I do this before I put it on, add that white piece, because it has just a teensy little bit of DSP hanging over the edge there. So I can easily trim that off. And then I'm going to add my adhesive, and this is going to go on the inside. This paper is so gorgeous. You guys have seen me do a lot of cards with this in the last couple weeks, and I just love it. It has a great poinsettia in it. We did Christmas card with it, I think on Wednesday. I think I've been here Monday, Wednesday, and today again with cards, in a lot of them using this Sale-A-Bration paper. So this one is just super duper easy. I have this little piece of basic white, and I am going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to use the Love and Warmth and just stamp it on there. I'm not going to worry about centering it or anything like that because we're going to fancy cut it. You guys know I like to fancy cut. It relaxes me. If you don't, there's always lots of different things that you can do instead of that. Okay, so here I've used these square dies, those stylish shaped dies that we just talked about. These are 2 squares from that, and I'm just going to use some Stampin' Seal there and put them right together. And I think I'm going to put these down flat. So I'm just going to use some more Stampin' Seal on the back of it. Oh, I'm running out of Stampin' Seal. That's why it's acting goofy. And I'm going to put this up a little bit towards the top and the left, because I'm going to put my words down here. And again, I have some twine that's tied in a bow. Most of my customers don't like tying bows, so I try and do that part for them, just because I like it when the rubber room is a nice relaxing experience. I don't like people stressing it out about tying a bow or anything like that. And tying a bow, for me, thank goodness, is a fairly easy thing. So I'm just going to, again, use my paper pumpkin glue dot and put my twine down with that. And I'm going to, it's a little bit big, so I am going to just trim it down a little. There we go. And then I'm going to take my words and just quickly fussy cut around them. And I, in my normal practice of life, am usually kind of really OCD about my house being clean and my areas being straightened up and all of that. I'm not as bad as I was when my children were little, but when I'm crafting, that's when my creative side can come out. That's when I can put things on a little bit more crooked and not be kept up all night thinking, oh my gosh, was that straight? Was that not straight? I think as women, we tend to, and maybe some men do. My husband and my boys are not at all anal or OCD. They don't really care how dirty things are. Sometimes I think they feel like the dirtier they are, the better that they are, or the more welcoming or lived in or whatever. But downstairs in the rubber room, it's just my space where I can cut and not worry about it being straight or being perfect, and just kind of let my hair down and leave my OCD upstairs. So with these words, I'm not really caring if they get the same amount of white left on the top and the bottom and all of that. I want it to look like it was fussy cut and be not so perfect. So I think I'm gonna get that effect with this. It's a long-winded little recitation there about how you don't have to be perfect with when you're fancy cutting, right? Okay, and I'm gonna put this up on dimensionals. See how quick this card was? This was like a 5-minute card, you guys. Even with the fancy cutting, it went by really quickly. And I'm actually gonna take some of these little tiny mini dimensionals and put those, I actually have some that I've cut. So I cut in half, and they're perfect for the upper part of these tall letters. There we go. I had a customer once call me and say her dimensionals were defective. They wouldn't stick. So I had to teach her how to take the backs off there. Just peel that back off and that dimensional will stick anywhere. Okay, there we go. Love and warmth. And when I went to get my words, I grabbed some rhinestone basic jewels. So I'm going to throw some jewels on here. And like I said, when they were here for the class, they got the iridescent pearls. But I'm going to just stick 3 little rhinestones around on my edges. There we go. Okay, and there's one big difference in these 2 cards. This one I stamped off. So there was a lot of really light colors down in here. So I stamped off and got that kind of lighter look for my sentiment on that one and this one. Okay. And I think I'll bring this one back in as long as I have these little jewels here. And I'll finish it up. And you can put these all over your card. They don't have to go just right where your words are or even where that band is. You can put them anywhere on your card. That kind of is a preference, whatever you want to do. Some people don't like jewels. I love the jewels. I think every card needs a jewel and a ribbon or some twine. So I think that might be why I struggle with masculine cards, because masculine kind of doesn't lend itself really well to jewelers or bling or anything like that. So for this card, we're going to use the Perfect Pomegranate stamp set. And this is going to be like a 1-layer card. So this is a card that you could use for a beginning stamper. And this is the Hostess set. So it is available for free when you place a minimum $300 order, or you have a party that has a minimum $300 of orders. Now this is what we call a distinctive stamp. And Stampin' Up! Has a patent on that distinctive processing. Let me see if I have a stamp left in here. I do. There's a couple of them left in here. So you can see it has those little ridges in it, but they're kind of uneven ridges. Let me see if I put that might help you just see it a little bit better. So you're going to get a light and a dark part to your stamped image and using the same color. So let me show you what I mean by that. We're going to take this little flower. I think that's so pretty. I don't even know what kind of flower it is, but it's really pretty. And I'm going to take some Highland Heather ink. If you aren't familiar with our ink pads, they open like a compact. So you just put your thumb where the little indentation here is and lift up towards you. If that doesn't work for you, you can take these two dots right above where your Stampin' pad words are, put your thumbs next to them, and press down. And that will pop the end of it up for you. So again, just take your thumbs inside these two dots, press down, and it pops up for you. So we're just going to bring it back and slide it on there. I am going to stamp right on my grid paper with this. You see, oh, here's perfect how you can see that it's the distinctive. So it has two different areas. So you can see this really dark kind of stem area to it. And then the inside flower is lighter than that. So you can see that right on your ink pad. And that's how it's going to stamp. Isn't that cool? There are lots of distinctive stamp sets in our catalog. And this one I think is really cool. They just give you, it gives it your image so much depth, and it does look just like a photograph, I think. So this one has lots of different ink pads and colors to it. So I'm going to start off with the Pear Pizzazz. And I am going to take the leaves. So there's like two branches that have leaves on them. And I am going to go in each corner of my card. And this piece of cardstock is 3 3/4. I really didn't want to rock it like that. So it's 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to stamp it again on the other side of my cardstock. That's the beauty of Stampin' Up! Cardstock. You can just flip it over and stamp on the other side. And I'm going to go there. Okay. So then I am going to put some flowers on these stems. And we actually have two different flowers that we're going to be using. And then we have the inside to a flower too. Okay, so I'm going to take this one and it is going to go line up right with my flower stem. So I don't know if you guys can see it. There's my stem right there. And I'm going to line that up right with that one on my flower. And I'm going to kind of turn it so it's going up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to ink it up again. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, but I'm going to have it kind of going down instead of up. Okay. And I can see I just missed that edge there. I think that'll do it. So then I'm going to take my smaller flower and do that on the other little flower piece. Okay. And then I am going to stamp my words. I'm going to bring my Pear Pizzazz back in here, and I wanted to say happy birthday. So I'm going to stamp some words up here in this corner in my green. And then I'm going to come in with some Sahara sand, and I'm going to make that the middle of my flowers. Okay, and then this stamp set also has this great piece that it kind of looks like rain to me, I think, a little bit. So I'm going to stamp it, and I don't want it to be really dark on my card. So I'm going to do a second generation. I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to stamp off with it. And then I'm going to kind of come in and add that to a little bit of my background. I'm going to do that on both sides. And I'm not worrying that I'm going right over top of my stamped image. That's okay with me because I left my OCD upstairs, remember? And it is very light, so it's not really going to like cover everything and waste it out. Okay? I think I may even add it down here on top of my leaves. What the heck, right? There. And this, I think, needs a real pop to it. So we're going to layer it up a bit. Let me get my ink pad out of the way. But you can see, just by it being as distinctive stamp, that it gives it that really great kind of 3D image, which is beautiful for a flower. So I'm going to put it on my Highland Heather cardstock, just with my Stampin' Seal. And then I'm going to take my 8.5 by 5.5 Pear Pizzazz paper, score it at 4 1/4, and burnish my score line. And then I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. And you could, I'm going to switch up and use some of these foam adhesive strips. Sometimes when I'm doing the whole base of a card like that, I like to use the adhesive strips because they give it a little bit more stability when you're lifting the whole thing like that. And you don't have to add every single inch. These are great strips. They come really long strips, and I just adhere them and then cut them. And you don't need to cover the whole thing like you do when you're doing a shaker card. You're not really, it's okay if you don't cover the whole thing, because you're not like having things that will fall out if you don't have it covered every inch of the way. So I'm not going to worry about having it covered like I would with a shaker card. And again, these are foam adhesive strips. And they come just, they're little skinny strips. And they do the same thing that our regular dimensionals and our mini dimensionals do. And we also have foam adhesive sheets, which I like to use when I'm die cutting words and things like that. Okay, so again, just a quick check that my paper is going in the right direction. I'm going to put this down. I want it to go over there just a little bit more. Come on. Come on, baby. There we go. Okay. I think that's pretty straight. And then we have these gorgeous adhesive backed sequins. And these are kind of these purple ones that are just perfect for this, I think. I just treated myself to the sequins die. So I can't wait to start using that. I think that's going to be so much fun. And I'm just going to add 3 of them. Let me go here. Like that to it. How fun is that, you guys? Isn't that gorgeous? And really simple. If you're a beginner stamper, this is perfect. You don't have to use a die cut machine. You don't have to use a punch. You just have some adhesives, a little bit of bling, and you're good to go. So here's our 3 celebration cards from today. We have the happy birthday. We have the love and warmth. And then we have the get well soon. And I have a little surprise for you guys. I know I told you that my classes are coming up on the 20th, and we're going to do one with the Happiness Abounds. There will be 3 classes all day. One of them will be Happiness Abounds. The other one is Happier Than Happy, which has the little bear. And then the other one is Sweet as Cherries. So here is a little sneak peek at the Happiness Abounds, or the, I think this one is Hues of Happiness. And it's Happiness Abounds. I think that's it. And so this is just like a little sneak peek. These are the 3 cards we're going to make. That one, and then this one, and this one. And you'll make 6 cards in total. So you'll do 2 each of all 3 of these cards in that class. And in the other classes, you'll do the same thing. You make 6 total cards, 2 each of 3 designs. And the class is free with a minimum $25 purchase, or you can pay just a $15 flat fee. If you are a member of our Rubber Room Rambler team, you have the half a class option, which means you make 1 of each of the 3 different designs and you pay only $5 per class. So you do have to RSVP by Sunday for those classes. And again, the class is on Saturday, August 20th from 1 to 4. So we have this card again, this one, and then this one, and that is the Happiness Abounds class. So let me take a quick peek here and see if anybody had any questions for me. Hi Joyce, thanks for watching, and Patricia and Catherine and Nancy. Nancy is signed up for classes on the 20th, so she got a free peek at what she's going to be doing. So thanks for tuning in, you guys, today, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. If you have any questions, just post them here for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.